This is a dangerous Minecraft world where every mob is smarter and stronger. To survive, I need a technological advantage. But getting this technology won't be easy. Only by harnessing compressed air in a high-tech workshop will I be able to craft an Iron Man suit and defeat the horrors of this world. I'm Mechanus, and this is the world of PneumaticCraft. It's nice and quiet in this lovely world, but it's not gonna stay that way. Fighting hostile mobs is gonna be a nightmare, cause this mod pack gives them extra health, more damage, and better AI. That gives me more incentive to invest in fancy PneumaticCraft stuff, which would frankly be overkill against plain old vanilla mobs. I'd hate to be unsporting, you know? We also have custom world gen and some quality of life additions like these sleeping bags, but all the big changes to progression are from PneumaticCraft. We've got a patch of oil here. Can't really do anything with the oil right now, but later on I'll have to set up infrastructure to process it. Oh, that skeleton took half my health with one shot. I am already regretting this. I desperately need gear. I'm gonna go looking for iron in here. There's a skeleton. No, thank you. Goodbye. That was real sketchy, but I made it out and I found some iron outside. I'm gonna be relying very heavily on this shield. My goal is to unlock the incredible abilities of the pneumatic armor set and become Iron Man. But in the meantime, Captain America's shtick works too. This is going to be a very American playthrough between the guns and oil and freedom fries. Sorry, chips? What a weird typo. I fixed it though. Now obviously I want armor and tools, but also I need iron if I want to make any progress at all in PneumaticCraft. So into the caves I go. What the hell? That creeper launched itself at me. That is terrifying. And it's strafing. Oh boy. It has twice the normal health. I gotta whittle it down. Finally. Alright, I found some iron. Ow. That hurt a lot. This feels like playing Minecraft for the first time. I'm jumping at every noise. I have survived long enough to get iron armor. It's still gonna be very dangerous, but at least I won't die in 2 hits. Wow. Whoa. Let's get more iron. There's a zombie mining toward me. That's lovely. Oh, there's another skeleton. Everything still does a lot of damage, so I'm burning through food. I cannot seem to catch a break. This is getting really nasty. Yeah, I'm in trouble. There goes my shield. I'm getting out of here. No, thank you. No, 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 no. No, thank you. The zombie hooked me. He hooked me. Bro, that's for fish. I'm not a fish. I have had enough of these caves. That sucked a lot, but I made it out alive. Oh, there's a village. Hello out there. Well, that's just rude. I will have to take base defense seriously because these creepers don't care about line of sight. They'll just blow up your walls. So I went a little ways from the village, and this is not a bad view at all. Plenty of space too. I think I'm gonna settle down here. I guess the locals have some objections to housing development. Very strong NIMBY attitude in this community. Whew. I need to light up whatever cave those guys came from. Ah, they just keep coming. What? Oh my god. Like I said, this is not a very nice world. I need every advantage I can get. I'm investing in some creeper deterrence. Also, I've made a compass which lets me see the minimap. Should be handy for spotting the creepers coming. Even so, the nights are going to be pretty rough, so I probably want some actual walls. I decided to take some time to build myself a little cottage. If I'm inside, I can temporarily forget the horrors of outside. Also, I need more iron for PneumaticCraft. Back into the mines I go. After a couple of harrowing excursions, I've managed to get 2 stacks of iron ingots. Now I'm finally ready to hunker down and do some tech stuff. Oh, come on! I hate these creepers so much. Alright, I rebuilt the cottage and added more anti-creeper safeguards. And they seem to be working. There are many nasty things outside tonight, but for now they're staying outside. I'm ready, for real this time, to get into PneumaticCraft and start working with compressed air. The main reason for those mining trips was that PneumaticCraft machines are made with compressed iron, and the only way I can get that right now is by taking iron ingots and blowing them up. You could use a creeper explosion instead of TNT, but I've had more than enough of those. The original 16 iron ingots got turned into 12 compressed iron, because the explosion crafting is a bit lossy. On average, 20% of the iron gets destroyed. By the way, 0% of viewers are actually subscribed. That's because I have no subscribers. It's a brand new channel. Here's your chance to get in on the ground floor. Now I'm going to need a lot of this compressed iron, so I want to make it more efficiently. The pressure chamber multi-block can manufacture compressed iron at a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to set it up down here in the basement, which is where I'll have the main PneumaticCraft workshop. The first thing I'll use compressed iron for is this very thorough guidebook, which explains how to make the multi-block. And the pressure chamber is fully assembled, but it's not quite usable yet. Like almost everything in this mod, it needs compressed air to run. Each recipe in here needs a certain amount of pressure, which is measured in bar. There are a few ways to make compressed air using machines called compressors. I have some charcoal, so I'll go with a standard compressor, which burns solid fuel. This needs to be connected to the pressure chamber with tubes. Burning the charcoal in the compressor makes compressed air. That air tries to equalize throughout the system so the pressure goes up everywhere. There can't be gaps in the tubes, or else the air leaks out and the pressure goes down. High pressure is not always a good thing. If this compressor goes over 5 bar of pressure, bad things will happen. As a safeguard, I can install a security upgrade to automatically vent air before it hits the danger zone. This prevents the setup from blowing up, but it still wastes fuel. We can do better than that. So this little module emits a redstone signal proportional to the current air pressure in the tubes. That powers this redstone line leading to the compressor, which is set to turn off when the pressure gets high enough. Now it won't waste fuel anymore. With no more need to babysit the compressor, I can focus on actually using the pressure chamber. By now, enough pressure is built up that it can easily produce more compressed iron. There are many things we can do with this, but priority 1 is being able to go outside and not die. I assume these cows wanted the same thing, but we'll never know because I turned them into leather armor, which I can upgrade. Compressed iron armor is still iron armor, so it's not amazing, but I will gladly take the extra toughness and knockback resistance. Wouldn't want to be knocked back from the recoil from my machine gun. The gun needs ammo loaded inside and a supply of air, which we can provide in a charging station. 5 bar of pressure is enough to charge it halfway. That'll have to do for the moment. Let's go back to the caves and give this a spin. Oh, you're gonna snipe me. Well, 2 can play at that game. So the minigun is really fun to use. The buff mobs still take a little time to kill, but I can do more damage if I just upgrade the ammo. That'll probably be expensive, but the real problem is that the minigun uses up pressure very quickly. There are upgrades for air capacity, but maxing out the gun uses 25 of these, which costs over 200 iron. I can't afford that. Also, I'm still not as resilient as I'd like. I have a ways to go before I can unlock the full power of PneumaticCraft. To start with, I need better infrastructure. I'm already running low on charcoal for the compressor, so I'm going to try making a tree farm for fuel. In PneumaticCraft, automation is done using air-powered drones of various kinds. The best ones can be programmed with custom instructions, but I can't afford these, so I'll have to make do with dumber ones that are good for exactly one thing. First, I need to spend some gold and redstone on turbine rotors. With these I can make a collector drone and a harvesting drone. Each of these has a working area of 17 by 17 blocks, so within those bounds I'll be planting some saplings. I've charged up the harvester drone and left a hoe for it inside this chest. If I put the drone on top, it takes the hoe. Then, when a tree grows, it flies over there and starts cutting it down. Yes, it chops wood with the hoe, don't ask me how. It's also nice enough to replant the tree when it's done. Now if I link the collector drone to this chest, it'll grab the items scattered on the ground and dump them inside. These are very handy little machines, and all it costs to run them is compressed air, so I should be able to make this farm self-sustaining. Actually, there might be a problem with that. The harvester doesn't have any saplings to replant with because the collector stole them all, and the harvester is too dumb to realize that, so this spot just won't have a tree anymore. It's a good thing I caught that, since it means the tree farm will dwindle away over time unless I keep replanting the saplings. And not having to do things myself is the whole point of the drones. I don't think this is going to work without smarter drones, so new plan. I'm going to use bamboo for fuel instead. I haven't seen any jungles yet, but thanks to the Nature's Compass mod, I know exactly where to go. It's just a bit of a walk. For storage on this trip, I'm going to bring a reinforced chest, which is basically a better shulker box. I have not explored much, so I'm looking forward to seeing all the custom terrain. Hello, wolf. Good boy. Come here, boy. Let's explore. Oh, there's a trident guy. Holy crap, that's a lot of damage. I don't like that. Hello, Mr. Enderman. What? He teleported the spider? Alright, it's just you and me now. Say hello to my— oh my god. That was really close. Okay, forget the gun. I'm just gonna abuse the shield. Good boy, get him from behind. Come on. And no pearl, of course. No more fighting Endermen till I get better armor. They're like mini-bosses now. Unless— hello, good sir. Would you care to sit down and have a nice chat? Just kidding, good sir. Have a lovely day. Hey, we made it. There's bamboo. Mission accomplished. Let's head back. Looks like a ruin over there. Yeah, get him. Oh no. Alright, no mercy. I'm going John Wick on these guys. You will be remembered as a good boy. Hey, this is a solemn moment. Well, I killed all the drowned and I have claimed their treasure as spoils of war. Now I'm back at base, and it looks like the drones have stopped working because they've used up all their air. While I charge them up, I'll replace the trees with bamboo. From now on, I want the drones to recharge automatically, so I'm going to put a charging station outside for them to use. Thing is, that only works with a dispenser upgrade on the charger, and for that I need quartz. So I'll very carefully check out the nether. Oh, it's warped forest as far as the eye can see. That's actually pretty safe as long as I don't look at the terrifying Enderman. And here's the dispenser upgrade. This mod pack has the pipe connector mod, which ought to save me the trouble of digging out a path for the tubes. If I select this end and that end, I get a preview of where the tube should go. I can select place pipes and boom, everything's linked up. With the dispenser upgrade installed, the charging station is ready. The drones are back to work and everything's running smoothly now. If a drone gets low on air, it can head over here, charge up, and head back to work. All that's left to do is actually send the bamboo into the compressor. I'm going to use the PneumaticCraft logistics system for this, which runs on, you guessed it, compressed air. The system is based on moving items between storage blocks using different types of special frames. Using a logistics configurator, I can specify which items are supposed to be extracted from or inserted into each of the frames. Then I have a couple options. I can use a logistics drone which will fly items to their destinations, or I can pipe items through a tube system from one logistics module to another. I'm going to go with the second option and use the modules. I can point a logistics module at the chest in the farm, which has a provider frame that's configured to extract the bamboo. The compressor gets a requester frame set to always keep it filled with bamboo, and I can use frames with lower priority to designate bamboo storage chests. I just have to connect everything with tubes, and now we are taking out the bamboo and sending it to the basement. Finally, I have a fully automatic source of fuel for the compressor. I no longer have to worry about making compressed air, which means I can focus on upgrading the workshop and getting better materials. If I want to move up the tech tree, I need plastic, and the easiest way to get plastic is by processing crude oil. So before I become Iron Man, I will become an oil man. PneumaticCraft has a device that lets you find oil deposits by spamming right-click on the ground, but I don't really need to prospect. There's oil all over the place. I can use fluid tanks for oil storage. Now that I have some black gold, I need more infrastructure to process it, so I'm going to expand the workshop a bit. Oh, I hear pillagers outside. Of course I get invaded the moment I find oil. I'm going to use the weighted ammo on these goons. This apparently uses air faster than the regular ammo, but it should do a lot more damage. Wow, he just deflected all of that. Oh, it's out of air already? That was a lot quicker than I expected. Tactical retreat. Hippity, hoppity, get off my property. It seems I can't get much use out of this ammo until I can afford to upgrade the minigun's air capacity. Back to normal ammo then. I've finished with the basement. First thing I'll do with this new space is set up a refinery for oil processing. Oil goes into the refinery controller block at the bottom. I also need refinery outputs, and luckily I can just afford the 4 I need to make a full distillation column. Each output block will house a different type of oil product. The refinery is my first machine that does not run on compressed air. Instead, it needs to be heated up to at least 100 degrees. There are several blocks that produce heat or cold, but the problem with most of them is that if you use them for heat transfer, they decay into less useful blocks over time, so you have to keep replacing them. As an alternative, I'm going to use a vortex tube. This is an actually existing machine that uses compressed air to heat up one side and cool the other. If I point the hot side of the vortex tube toward the refinery controller, we should be able to raise its temperature enough to distill the oil. Also, a heatsink on the cold side will improve efficiency. Now that I've hooked it up to the tube system, the vortex tube is active and heating the refinery, which is separating the crude oil into diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and LPG, until suddenly it stops because the refinery is losing too much heat due to poor insulation. To fix this, it needs to be covered on all sides either by solid blocks or this thermal lagging. Now the refinery is running again, but there's another problem. Turns out the vortex tube uses a lot of compressed air, more than the compressor can keep up with. The good news is that I'm making more than enough fuel to support additional compressors. Plus I can use a regulator tube module to turn off airflow to the vortex tube as needed using redstone. The bad news is that I'm down to the last of my iron. But the other good news is that I managed to get fortune on my pickaxe, so mining will be more profitable now. Let's get to it. That was a rough time, but I got a bunch of ores. We're back in business. Now to make use of the oil products. The heavier ones can be cracked into the lighter ones, which is nice if you want more of a particular fluid for some specialized use. For example, kerosene is the best fuel for kerosene lamps, which can light up a large area. I wanted to make an automatic system to turn on outdoor lighting at night, but I'd have had to fuel multiple lamps, and I had some issues with lighting the sloped terrain, so in the end I just stuck with torch spam. The most important oil product is LPG, because I can make plastic from it inside the thermopneumatic processing plant, or TPP. I'll use another vortex tube to keep it heated, and inside the TPP, LPG and coal make molten plastic. To get plastic in solid form, it has to be cooled down. The easiest way is by just placing a bucket down on the ground, but alternatively I can cool it using a heat frame. A heat frame placed on a chest allows items inside to be smelted by heating the block or frozen by cooling it. I'll use the cold side of a vortex tube to get this chest very, very cold. Then the fluid tank of plastic goes in. The reason I'm doing all this is that with cold enough temperatures, there's a chance to get bonus plastic. So I have plastic now. This lets me make upgraded versions of pressure tubes and tanks, but also a few more interesting things. With a pinch of soul sand and some valuables, I can make a memory stick. This is handheld XP storage. It would have been handy before I lost a bunch of levels like this, but better late than never. Also, a pneumatic cylinder can be used to craft the jackhammer. The jackhammer is a very powerful mining tool that uses compressed air instead of durability. But I can't use it yet, because I need a drill bit. I can make a diamond drill bit in the TPP using lubricant, which is diesel plus redstone, and a diamond block. It's expensive, but I guarantee it'll be worth it. Just one issue. Not only does this recipe use air in addition to heat, it needs 7.5 bar of pressure. All the infrastructure I've made so far can only handle 5 bar of pressure before explosions happen. This means I need new pipes that can handle the pressure and a new type of compressor. The thermal compressor runs off of heat differentials. So if I grab some lava and put it over here, and I freeze some ice and put it over there, it starts making compressed air. This won't work forever though. The ice eventually turns into water and the lava turns into obsidian, which is a real pain to replace. I probably should have used magma or something instead. Nevertheless, we've finally reached the required pressure and the drill bit is mine. The drill bit goes inside the jackhammer, and now since this compressor is able to make up to 10 bar of pressure, I can actually charge both the jackhammer and the minigun all the way up to maximum. The reason I went for the diamond drill bit instead of one of the cheaper ones is that it's faster and has some extra mining modes. There's vein miner for trees and ores, and it can do up to a 3x3 square. It's also possible to upgrade the jackhammer with an enchanted book, but I don't have any good ones, so for now I'll just use my pick when I run into ores. Even so, this thing is an absolute beast for mining. I just dug for 10 minutes and got 40 diamonds. Back at base, I've been diligent so far about sleeping through the nights. The cats mostly keep creepers out, but fun fact, cats don't matter to spiders with creepers on their backs. However, plastic gives me the chance to try a more forceful deterrent, because as everyone knows, the best defense is a good machine gun turret. I'm done with cowering in my bed at night. The time has come to go to war. Around the cozy cottage, I'm putting down 8 cozy gun emplacements. To activate the sentry turrets, I just need to load them up with ammo. I very much like that the pillagers are shooting the turret and not me. It seems there's a standoff, because the pillagers can't hurt the turret and they're too far away for the turret to hit them. The turrets do support range upgrades. I can save on lapis for all PneumaticCraft upgrades by making upgrade matrices in the TPP. But the range upgrades also require bows, and I don't have too much string, so for now I can only upgrade the turret's range by a little bit. This text field lets me specify what the turrets shoot at. By default, they're set to shoot at anything hostile, which is fine by me. I just have to not right-click, because apparently that clears the filter, which has the minor effect of enabling friendly fire. Okay, I disarmed it. It's still trying to shoot me. Gotta fix the targeting. There we go. The ammo will run out eventually, so I've designated an ammo supply chest and placed requester frames on all the turrets. This lets the logistics drone keep the guns loaded. I also made a collector drone to pick up mob drops. Since the drones are going out into the crossfire, I'm giving them upgrades that let them use their air supply to heal damage. And they can recharge at the charging station I made earlier. The defenses are ready. I just have to wait for night to fall, and then the siege begins. This is beautiful. I might need more turrets. This one's struggling with all the zombies, but they are all still dying eventually. My first ender pearl. Hell yeah. Well, this seems normal. I hear mining. Someone's trying to breach the walls. Where are you? Well, he surfaced right next to the turret. Sucks to be that guy. Let's check out the tunnel. How far did that zombie dig? The tunnel just keeps going down. Here's the cave it started from, almost 100 blocks below. That was one dedicated zombie. Gotta respect that. Some of the creepers are getting close to the turrets and exploding. They can't destroy the turrets, but they're still damaging the area, especially the rocket creepers. Yeah, that might be a problem. We've got a breach. The zombies are inside. That's right, you're both in timeout. Stand in the corner and think about what you've done. I do not want my workshop getting blown up. I'm going to replace the stone walls with compressed stone, which I can make from regular stone in the pressure chamber. This should be able to stand up to the creepers. Also, I added more turrets. The cottagecore vibes are kinda ruined by all the machine guns, but that's the price I'm willing to pay. Let's see how the defenses hold up now. Okay, and that works for me. As the sun rises, nothing remains of the invading forces except their drops. It seems the base is impervious now to whatever the nighttime can throw at it. I bet these guns could hold off an army, so let's test that theory. A while back I discovered a pillager outpost. The pillagers kicked my butt and I ran away, but now I have some better gear, so I should be able to kill enough pillager captains to get a raid going. I just need to borrow a villager. Hello neighbor, want to get off this ledge? Then come with me. Come on, get in the portal. No, in the portal. Alright, we made it. Come inside. Wait, stop. Not that way. Bad villager. Yeah, chase him back here. Oh my god, he jumped. You're being difficult. I'm putting you in the hole. There we go. You're safe now. Never mind, he's outside again. Why are you running toward the gunfire? You have no survival instincts. This is for your own good. Villager is secure. Now back to the outpost. And that's Bad Omen 5. Time for a raid. Oh, I forgot to give this guy a bed. Now it's raid time. Well, there goes the first wave. Where is the second wave? I may not have thought this through. I'm at the edge of a mountain. They spawned all the way at the bottom. Looks like I have to do this myself. They're hiding in the cave where I got the oil from. Easy pickings. I'm glad I don't have to fight the buffer raptor myself. It's taking its sweet time to die though. Not the Vexes. Oh, this is bad. Get away from me. Wow, those Vindicators are really strong. I just have to snipe the evoker hiding in the cave. Alright, time to go. Well, at least I took him with me. This is the last wave, and the turrets are doing a great job. I just have to find the last two raiders. Aha, they're in the tunnels. Nowhere to run. That doesn't mean run this way. Phew. Where's my raid victory announcement? I guess it didn't count because I was too deep in the tunnels? That sucks. Even if I didn't get credit for completing the raid, I will call this a successful test. A+ for the defense system. C- for me though. I got absolutely clobbered by the Vexus and Vindicators. Even enchanted, compressed iron armor is simply not enough. But I'm close to the endgame of PneumaticCraft, and soon I'll be able to make the pneumatic armor set and become Iron Man. There's just one major piece of technology I'm missing: printed circuit boards, or PCBs. All the best stuff in PneumaticCraft is gated behind PCBs, which require the most elaborate crafting process yet. First, I stick redstone torches, metal nuggets, and plastic inside a pressure chamber to make empty PCBs. The next step is to expose the empty PCBs to UV light, but to make a UV light box I need a PCB blueprint. To get this, I'm gonna do some online shopping. This tablet lets me order delivery from the Amidron Corporation. Once it's charged with air, I can access a bunch of trades from villagers and from the Amidron Corporation itself. The villager trades get updated daily. Today we have a cleric trade for rotten flesh, and I could stand to get rid of some of this. So I'll link the tablet to this chest and enter the number of trades I want to make. I will take the entire stock. Once I place the order, an Amidron delivery drone swoops down to grab the goods, and after a moment it is back with my payment. I'll spend some of these emeralds to buy a PCB blueprint directly from Amidron. Now I can craft the UV light box. The light box prepares the empty PCBs for the next step in the processing line when they will be etched. Right now, the chance of a successful etching for each of these is 0%. If I put one in here, UV light gets applied, which slowly starts increasing that chance. By default, it'll keep going until success in the next stage is guaranteed. This sounds great, but the process slows down as the chance approaches 100%. Failed etching isn't actually a big deal since I'll just be able to try again, so in the interest of speed, I'm lowering the success chance to a coin flip. After the empty PCB hits the desired etching chance, the actual etching takes place inside of an etching tank. Compressing a bunch of garbage together produces etching acid. I put the acid and the empty PCBs inside the tank, and slowly the empty PCBs are developed. Since the success chance was 50%, about half of them failed to be etched correctly, but I can just recycle the failures inside a blast furnace. The successful outputs are ready for the last step. By combining an unassembled PCB with capacitors and transistors, I can finally finish my very first PCB. I can make transistors no problem with redstone, metal, and plastic inside a pressure chamber, but capacitors use slime balls. Throughout my time caving, I've gotten exactly 4 of these, and I just used all of them. The pressure mechanic villager does have a chance to sell capacitors at level 2, but no dice. So to get PCBs in any real quantity, I will need a lot more slime for these capacitors. Fortunately, I'm saved from having to make a slime farm by this pressure chamber recipe, which lets me turn milk and green dye into slime balls. I got milk, but I have no cactus for the dye. Time to break out the nature's compass again and visit a desert. The Ravagers from the raid left me some saddles, so I get to take a horse this time. Whoa, check that out. I did not realize there were volcanoes in this world. Thank you, William Withers, very cool. And here's the desert. Give me your cactus. Oh hey, a rabbit's foot. That'll actually be useful later. These are the first pressure mechanic houses I've seen. Looks like they just tore down this desert temple. And I'm glad they did, because this is better than the temple's loot. I will take all of that. Now back to base. Using this cactus I got, I'm going to set up a small farm. To collect the cactus, I'll use this first PCB to make a smart chest with a magnet upgrade, which can be configured to work as a vacuum hopper. When cactus grows, the chest will automatically pick it up. I've smelted the first harvest of cactus into green dye, so now I can produce slime in the pressure chamber and use that slime for capacitors, which means more PCBs. We're officially in the endgame now, and at long last I can craft the pneumatic armor set. At first blush, this doesn't seem like much of an improvement over the compressed iron armor. But here's the thing, you don't become Iron Man just by wearing a metal suit. Then any feudal schmuck could do it. You also need cool gadgets. To unlock the full potential of the pneumatic armor, I'll have to charge it up with air and install various upgrades into the armor pieces. Unfortunately, the volume upgrades especially will take lots of iron, and crafting the armor has left me broke again. I can't be Iron Man if I don't have iron. I'll be a laughingstock. So I'm going on one last mining trip, and then I'll take care of my iron deficiency once and for all. In order to do that, I'm going to take advantage of the most powerful machines in the mod. And I know I could just make a vanilla golem farm, but why do that when I can make an iron golem spawner? There are just a few things I need to do first. To start with, I'll spend some PCBs to make machines for an assembly system. Once the machines are placed next to each other and given an assembly program from Amidron, the system is able to perform high-tech multi-step crafts. The assembly system offers a more straightforward way to turn empty PCBs into finished PCBs, so I don't necessarily need the lightbox and etching tank anymore. Though without speed upgrades it is pretty slow. But the main reason I made this was to craft compressed iron blocks into advanced pressure tubes. The pressurized spawner uses these tubes in its crafting recipe. I also need an empty spawner block, which has to be created from a vanilla spawner using a spawner extractor. The spawner extractor requires a gas tier, which I don't have. It's gonna be a ways to the nearest Soul Sand Valley, so I would like some fire resistance. Pleasure doing business. Made it here without falling into lava. I thought this dimension didn't have weather, but it is now raining skeletons. The ghasts have rapid fire, but that's only fair, cause so do I. I also found another fortress, so I will carefully grab some blaze rods as well. This is actually not too dangerous, since the freezing ammo from the minigun lets me make quick work of the blazes. Thanks to the gas tier, I have acquired a spawner extractor. This can work on any kind of spawner. So far, every pneumatic machine I've made runs on high levels of air pressure, but the extractor sucks the spawner's contents out, and to use it I need to lower the pressure and create a vacuum. That can be accomplished with a vacuum pump. I increase pressure on this end, and then pressure goes down on the other end. By hooking this up to a compressor, I can start running the spawner extractor. The spawner does not like being extracted, so as the extractor works, it'll spawn waves of mobs with extra buffs, until the spawner core pops out, leaving behind an empty spawner, which is the last thing I needed to make the pressurized spawner. The pressurized spawner will be able to spawn any mob I want using compressed air, but it's very demanding to run. It needs at least a constant 10 bar of pressure, which I can only barely reach with the thermal compressor. Fortunately, the advanced pressure tubes also let me upgrade my original air compressor system. The new advanced compressor makes air 5 times as fast and can safely produce a maximum 20 bar of pressure. There's just one catch. As the compressor runs, heat starts building up inside, and if it heats past 50 degrees, it becomes less and less efficient. Obviously I don't want that, so I have to keep this machine cool. Heat sinks will radiate some heat away, and more heat sinks work better. But I can't fully cover the compressor with heat sinks because I also need room for fuel input, air output, and redstone control. What I can do is transfer heat away through heat pipes. So I have two advanced compressors here. If I put heat pipes between them leading into a cluster of heat sinks, the heat sinks will vent heat from both the compressors at once. I can improve this even more with an air grate module. When I hook this up to a tube, it'll push out a stream of air that cools heat sinks in front of it. The airstream will also push me around, which might get annoying, but with a module expansion card I can unlock the ability to turn that off. The air grate only needs a tiny bit of pressure to cool the heat sinks, so I can attach an upgraded regulator module to limit the airflow to the grate. This makes running it very cheap, but just for a little extra fuel efficiency, I can set that regulator module to turn off airflow completely unless there's a redstone signal. By reading the temperature on the compressors with the thermostat module and transmitting that signal through the tube system to a redstone module, we can set the air grate to run only when the compressors need extra cooling. The new advanced tubes can handle much more pressure than the old ones, but they will still explode if the pressure goes over 20 bar, so I'm going to set up a redstone control circuit like the one we had before. It's a little easier now that I have module expansion cards, since I can set this pressure gauge module to only emit a redstone signal after the pressure hits a specific threshold, and I can toggle the compressors by transmitting the signal through more redstone modules. By the way, big shout out to ZSpec on the PneumaticCraft Discord for writing up detailed guides to using tube modules. With the compressors ready to receive bamboo through the logistics system, I just need to connect all this to the existing tube setup. Connecting the high pressure tubes directly to normal tubes might make the normal tubes explode, but I can prevent that by putting a regulator module between the different types of tubes. Now everything is up and running. We're generating compressed air much faster and producing much more pressure than before. The compressors automatically shut off before too much pressure builds up, and the cooling system is keeping the temperature stable. I've added speed upgrades to run the compressors even more quickly, but that also burns more fuel, so I've doubled the size of the bamboo farm. This ought to be enough air production to keep the pressurized spawner active, but I'm still not done, because the pressurized spawner needs a spawner core inside. I got one of these from the spawner extraction process, but I don't really want to use it since it's full of spiders. There is a way to make brand new spawner cores in the TPP using liquid experience, and thanks to my memory stick, I have plenty of levels saved up that I can dump into a tank. This new spawner core is empty. To fill it, I must doom 100 souls to eternal confinement within this eldritch prison. Naturally, that can be done with compressed air. Introducing the vacuum trap. If you create negative pressure inside the trap, it's able to suck things into it. You may have seen something like this in Ghostbusters, but the vacuum trap also works on live things. The whole point of this is to make an iron golem spawner, so of course I need an iron golem. I only captured the one golem, so unlike the core from the cave spider spawner, this spawner core is still mostly empty. If I stick it in the pressurized spawner and turn it on, the spawner will run, but almost all the spawning attempts will fail. To make an actually useful farm, I need to fill up this core some more, but I can't afford to build a bunch of iron golems. I could go looking for more in villages, but filling the core completely would take a kidnapping spree of epic proportions. However, there is another way. See, the process of capturing mobs is reversible. Normally, each mob captured in the vacuum trap fills the spawner core by 1%, and for every percentage point of the spawner core's fill level, I can move one mob out of the core and back into the world. But when the vacuum trap has XP inside, it can use some of that XP to fill the core an extra amount each time it captures a mob. This means I can use that one captured iron golem to spawn a whole 4 golems, and by recapturing them, the bonus from the XP means this core now has the equivalent of several more golems. So with enough XP, I can keep repeating this until I've duplicated enough golems to completely fill the spawner core. Now it's ready to go inside the pressurized spawner, which will be able to spawn golems much faster as long as it's supplied with air. Since I have plastic to spare, I'll kill the golems by weaponizing the most painful hazard imaginable: stepping on Lego bricks. These are actually great for mob farms, because they do a lot of damage, but you can completely negate it by just having shoes on. Once I turn the spawner back on, iron golems start popping into existence, dying horribly, and having their drops collected by the smart chest on top of the farm. It doesn't take long for this farm to yield stacks and stacks of iron. Now there's nothing to stop me from crafting all the upgrades I need to become Iron Man. While I've been making the iron farm, the TPP has been working overtime to craft stacks of upgrade templates. Thanks to my new supply of compressed iron, I can at last afford enough volume upgrades to max out the air capacity of the armor. Many of the gadgets in the suit are going to consume air, so this will let me go a lot longer without recharging, though it will take a while to charge it up all the way. Also, with volume upgrades in the minigun, I can take advantage of the weighted ammo without instantly running out of air, and it's not long before I need to use it. Huh? I thought I lit up all the caves down there. Why are there mobs still tunneling? Okay, looks like I missed a spot. Oh yeah, this is so much better. The mobs are just getting melted now. I lit up even more caves. That should get them to leave my floors alone. So that's my offensive capabilities improved, but that still won't save me if I fail to see a creeper coming. When it's first crafted, the pneumatic armor set has about the same stats as compressed iron, which, as we established, is not amazing. But Mecha, you got all those diamonds earlier. Why didn't you make diamond armor? Well, actually, I've been saving up, because it costs one whole stack of diamonds to make a full set of armor upgrades. But it's a worthwhile investment. With 4 armor upgrades installed on each piece, this suit has significantly better armor and toughness than netherite. Of course, I also want to enchant it. I still have levels saved up in the memory stick, but happily I don't need to spend too much time at the enchanting table to get the enchantments I want. During my travels, I've picked up various pieces of crappy gear with good enchantments, and PneumaticCraft has a way to remove those enchants and put them to better use. I need a second pressure chamber, but instead of pumping this one full of air, I will create a vacuum inside. Using that vacuum, I can suck enchantments off of gear pieces and put them onto books. Between the enchants on the junk gear and my battered compressed iron set, I'm able to get more than enough enchanted books to max out the new armor. I'm not going to bother with mending since item life upgrades will let the armor repair itself using compressed air. The upgrades I've made so far go on every part of the armor set, but I also want various specialized upgrades that have unique abilities when installed on particular armor pieces. Speed upgrades are one example, and they're kind of expensive. I need lots of diesel from the oil refinery to make lubricant, and each bucket of lubricant makes one speed upgrade. These upgrades are insanely powerful. They can give a boost to almost anything, from the mining speed of my jackhammer to the operation rate of various machines. But because of the cost in diesel, I've been using them sparingly. I've drained a couple pools of oil by now and I'm still running low, so I'm actually going to adjust the refinery to use only 2 outputs instead of 4. This is less efficient for making plastic, but it gives me a bit more diesel. In addition to the speed upgrades, there are a bunch of others I want to make. A couple of these upgrades are crafted using potions, which is where that rabbit's foot I got earlier comes in handy. At this point, I have enough resources that none of the remaining upgrades are too difficult to make. With all the upgrades installed and every armor piece fully charged, my Iron Man suit, the culmination of so much engineering and striving and suffering, is finally complete. The only thing left to do is put it on. Item magnet on. Night vision on. For the first time, I'm gonna spend the night outdoors. The mobs are coming. Let them catch me if they can. What's that? Oh, you wanna go? You wanna go? Go then. Apparently, the creepers have no defense against cyber attacks. Get hacked. You want to try and teleport? Too bad. Get hacked. Once I feared the Endermen, but now they're just a nuisance. Nothing will stand in my way. Not even my front door. Get hacked. I might be getting a little arrogant now, and as they say, pride comes before a fall. Good thing I'm immune to fall damage. Oh no, I fell in lava. It's so over for me. I have X-ray vision now too. No walls can hide my enemies from me. I don't even need to use the gun. I could just throw arrows at you. In fact, I don't need a weapon at all. I'll stomp on y'all like Goombas. Alright, I'm bored. Later, losers. Ha 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 ha. I love going mad with power. And yes, the suit can do regular creative style flights too. Most of the upgrades are individually customizable, and I can style the suit as I please. But, although it takes a point-blank creeper blast to hurt me now, I have a problem. No individual mob can stand against me, but there's so many that even weighted ammo barely makes a dent in the wall of enemies. I tried explosive ammo, which does a lot of AoE damage, but it's hard to use because everything I hit gets launched into the sky. Is this it then? Are the mobs and I doomed to an endless stalemate? An unstoppable force meeting an immovable object? Maybe not, because I have one last trick up my sleeve. Yes, gather round my pretties. This thing has a charge of 100 missiles, but if I put on breaking and mending on it, I can just keep spamming missiles and swoop down to grab XP for repairs. I am so done with these creepers. You're not the only ones with rockets now. It's payback time. After all those mobs have put me through, that was a very cathartic rampage, but I still have work to do. There's one last piece of tech I want, which will make me more powerful than ever. The aerial interface. To get it, I'll have to slay a wither, and even as mighty as I've become, the wither is also going to be buffed, so I don't expect this to be easy. But first things first, I need wither skulls. I do have to be careful with launching missiles into confined space. See, I can adjust the missiles to balance between their speed, maneuverability, and damage. And because the mobs are so tough, I have this set to nearly the maximum damage. Which is a lot! After that, I stuck to farming those wither skeletons the old-fashioned way with my looting sword. And now, with 3 wither skulls in hand, the armor charged, and my gun loaded, I am ready. For my final battleground, I've chosen the most dramatic site possible, the summit of a volcano. There's no turning back now. Okay, never mind. That actually was easy. Aerial interface acquired. So what makes the aerial interface so special? Well, you see, this block is me. At least my inventory anyway. Putting items into the interface gives them directly to me, but that's only one of the ways this can be used. I can automatically feed myself, fill or drain my XP bar, charge my gear remotely, and manipulate the contents of my ender chest. With the interface hooked up to a logistics system, I will never need to worry about running out of anything. My days of struggling to survive are giving way to a new age of prosperity. In a way, it's only fitting that I myself should become part of the workshop after all I've accomplished in this place. I've built up infrastructure, driven back the horrors, and reached the technological frontier. While there's plenty more I can do with PneumaticCraft, for now I'm content to know that I have nothing more to fear from this nightmare world. Because I am Iron Man.